I'm working on a video right now between these two, talking about the success of the Nintendo Switch and the failure of the PlayStation Vita. Working on that video right now, so I thought I'd put out a little preliminary video. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the differences between these two. For starters, as you can see with the Nintendo Switch, the control scheme is kind of much like an Xbox controller. You have the analog stick up top on one, analog stick on the bottom on the other, much like an Xbox controller. Whereas the PlayStation Vita, you have the analog sticks both on the bottom, just like your standard PlayStation controller. On the Switch, let's go ahead and take a look at the UI real quickly. So this user interface honestly reminds me a lot of the PlayStation 4 user interface. With the way that they have the game icons set up right here, it just really reminds me a lot of the PlayStation 4. You have your options and stuff down here. Your greeting online, your news, the store, your album for screenshots, save videos, adding and removing controllers, your system settings, and your sleep mode. You go into here and you have your complete library of games that you own on your Nintendo Switch. I like this. This is a nice little feature that they have on here. I like it. So before we get into more, let's quickly go over and look at the PlayStation Vita's user interface. Now this can be started up by many ways. You can either press the power button up top right here, which will turn it on, or you can go ahead and press the home button, which will also turn it on. And this one's a little bit different with the lock screen, as you just take this right here and swipe it down like a page. Yep. Playing Uncharted on this one. Such a beautiful game. It really is. For how old this game is, this is very beautiful. Let's go ahead and turn this down a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. This is the user interface of the PlayStation Vita. All your little bubbly icons in here. And that's where all your stuff goes. Your PlayStation Store, your friends lists, all that wonderful stuff. Settings, Content Manager, which you can go in there and with your delete save data, load save data from the cloud, stuff like that. This one, as you see, I do have the GBA emulator, 64 emulator, Super Nintendo emulator. I do have this Vita actually hacked to be able to play emulators on it. This had a wonderful array of games for it when it first launched. I mean, games like Golden Abyss and stuff like that, which is something I'll get into the video later. I'm not really worried about all that. I'm just doing the user interface on this. This one, I do like the user interface on it. It's a innovative user interface. I think a little bit much. It's very overwhelming to people that aren't used to the PlayStation. Given all the different screens that you can have on this, you can consolidate stuff into folders on this, but hold stuff down just like I showed you right there. That's how you delete stuff. That's pretty much the user interface on this one. Now, if I was to choose a user interface, what would I prefer? Honestly, the Switch interface. One thing that's really missing off of the PlayStation Vita user interface is there's no game library. Yes, you have your games down here. You have all your games and stuff that you have downloaded to the game, but there's no game library. Like in, say, the Nintendo Switch, here's your game library. Now, whether you have games downloaded or not, this is where all of your game library is going to be. And this one, it has no game library at all. This is it. It'll show your downloaded games to the system. So if you want to go in and actually find a game that you want to play that you've already purchased, it's a long, tedious process how to do that. And I'll show you right here. This, simple. Here's your user interface. All your purchased content that you can download. So now we're in the PlayStation Store. You're going to go ahead and click down here, go to your download list, and here is all your purchased games. But there's an issue with the PlayStation Vita. Okay? You see this wonderful Cannot downloading using this system. That's because that's a PlayStation 3 game that you purchased. Why would you put PlayStation 3 games on the PS Vita download list? That makes no sense. That means that you're going to have to go through here and scroll through all of your games you've purchased on PlayStation 3 and Vita just to find a game that you can download to the PlayStation Vita. This is very time consuming and it's very, very irritating. And another thing that I find irritating about the user interface with the PlayStation Store on this, let's go ahead and I guess I exited out of it because I'm used to playing the Switch right now. I've been playing the Switch for the past few months, so I'm used to that. I keep wanting to press the circle button because it's the A button on the Switch, which is the continue button, but on here it's X. So let's go ahead, scroll all the way down that. Now mind you, let's do this real quickly. It doesn't want to, of course, why not? Well then I'm just going to scroll like that. Okay, Prince of Persia Revelations for the PSP is the top game. So let's go ahead and scroll down a little ways. We're just going to find a random game to download, since I have a 64 gigabyte memory card in this, which is something I'll get to on my video. Let's just download. This is Mousecraft. It was a free PlayStation game when it, for some others, it doesn't want to. Okay, there we go. Preparing to download. I absolutely hate about the Vita. Now that it's downloading, it's going to open up your download list again. Look at that. Prince of Persia Revelations. It goes all the way back to the beginning of your download list. So if there's multiple things that you want to download, you then have to sit here and scroll through it all again just to get back to where you were. And that is irritating. Anyways, the cartridges on both of these are practically similar. These are so similar with each other. They're almost the exact same size. You got your little diagonal stuff right there. This one's more rounded, but look at this. The Switch cartridge and the PlayStation Vita cartridge. They're almost the exact same size. So, you know, I like these, even though if you don't have the cases to them, it's very easy to lose these. So don't lose them. The ports on these are pretty identical. Here is your Switch port for games. And here is your Vita port for games. So when it comes to the user interface, I prefer the Switch so much more. It's so much better. I love the Switch user interface. It's easy, simple to navigate, and everything explains itself. This one, while the preliminary UI of getting in and just playing games is easy and simple, everything else is a lot more complicated. Like, why is there not a download list on this? There should be a download list for this. Now, the games itself, I love the way that the Vita looks. The Vita has very beautiful games. As you saw when I was with Uncharted Golden Abyss, this game is just beautiful. It really is. Especially for how old this game is. But then when you go over to your Switch, even these games, now I don't want to lose my progress, so I'm just going to go ahead and load this up. Even these games are just beautiful. The graphics are really nice.
His Majesty did not offer even a single word of praise.
Well, it's only natural that Father would be frustrated.
But, Your Highness...
Right now,
The graphics are pretty good on this.
whatever is in our power.
Now, given the fact that the Age of Calamity is in the exact same graphics as Breath of the Wild, with the cell shading graphics, so that way you can really cover up a lot of the flaws, but once again, that's not really the point of this. I love the Switch, and I love the PlayStation Vita. I wish the Vita would have had more support because this thing was amazing. Which one would I personally choose to play? The Switch. It's just an amazing system. And the third-party support on it is just wonderful to see. Vita, wonderful system. Amazing system. Switch is just better. But yeah, I have a video coming up really discussing a lot of the flaws and the failures of the Vita compared to the success of the Switch. Tune in for that video. I'm working on it right now. Probably have it out sometime next week. Yeah, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.